Yeah. Troy Tulowitzki was one, and he got stuck on Asdrubal Cabrera.
Oh, God. The pressure is so enormous.
Billy found a minor leaguer in 1912, outfielder, who had an unassisted triple play. I've got questions about how Tris Speaker had so many unassisted double plays. How the hell were they playing baseball back then? He was just chasing people down on the base pass without throwing the baseball. Who else in the club?
You get that, right? Like, you get that, right?
That's Stugatz dismissing MC Hammer.
You are a genius.
Yes, I am. And you're not.
Oh, no. Him dismissing him some more and me being mortified. Who else in the club?
He looks better on the toilet than I do doing anything in my life.
That is Billy on A-Rod.
He looks better on the toilet than I do doing anything in my life.
Where are the lies? Who else in the club?
I'm just wondering if you get that, because you're being rude on our radio show.
It makes me uncomfortable. Who else?
I have a confession to make. Whoa. I just had to go to a bathroom.
I don't know which time to believe Paul Pierce, when he says he pooped himself or now when he says he didn't. What else?
So what have you guys been doing today? I'd like to read a book or two to you before we start playing. Is that all right?
Mike, can you pick anything weaker to send us into the weekend with energy and party energy?
Who likes cats? I like cats more than dogs.
I want to party this weekend. I want to get into the tequila happy hour. Give me some party.
My mom says I'm unique. She says I'm a wonder. My dog, Daisy, agrees.
Hope you enjoyed the Dan Le Batard Show on ESPN Radio.
World Star.
Looking to build a deck? Think Trex is out of your price range? Well, now you should take a second look at the #1 name in outdoor living. Because the latest deck from Trex is engineered for the DIYer and priced to put the pressure on treated lumber. Plus, it comes with a 25-year fade and stain warranty, and that's something wood can't promise. Visit the Home Depot to see and feel the new decking color for yourself. Trex Enhanced Naturals in Coastal Bluff.
Hey, Trey, you excited about the women's soccer showdown?
You know it. The U.S. team is on point.
What do you think makes them so unstoppable?
I don't know. The passing, the shooting, the defense, the teamwork, the ball control, just being generally awesome.
Yeah, it's anyone's guess, but probably all of them.
Kind of like almonds.
Almonds?
They've got natural energizing protein and fiber and good fats, calcium, vitamin E, riboflavin, magnesium.
Okay, I think we get it. Almonds are nature's wingers.
Exactly.
Own your everyday. Every day this soccer season with California almonds.
Dad! Come on! Over here! Look at this, Dad! Over! Whoa.
The moment my son saw a redwood tree
It's huge!
is the moment I knew that for him,
You can't even see the top of that thing!
even the sky has no limit.
There are some moments only the forest can inspire. Find yours at discovertheforest.org. Learn about forests near you and discover cool things to do when you go, like hiking, biking, fishing, or camping. Or do your own thing when you get there with family and friends. Your moment is out there. Find it at discovertheforest.org. That's discovertheforest.org.
Brought to you by the U.S. Forest Service and the Ad Council.
If you have over $10,000 in credit card debt and are behind on your monthly payments, you need to make this free call right now. 800-428-4187. When you call the Stop Debt Hotline, you're taking the first steps for help. Debt specialists are part of a real team who will help you with all of your options. You could stop the collection calls and letters forever by calling the completely confidential toll-free number right now. 800-428-4187. 800-428-4187. When you call, you'll get free information on how you can handle your debt forever. Imagine no more late nights and no more debt. Don't try to face your creditors alone. Call the Stop Debt Hotline right now. 800-428-4187. 800-428-4187. Get free information now by calling the Stop Debt Hotline. 800-428-4187. Non-attorney spokesperson paid for by Debt Resolution Helpline. 102 Northeast 2nd Street, number 183, Boca Raton, Florida, 33432.
ESPN Pensacola has you covered from the national and local levels. From Golick and Wingo to the Sports Drive, the Paul Feinbaum Show to Talk Football with Coach K, we have it all. It's the latest and best in sports talk radio, making us Pensacola's hometown sports network. ESPN Pensacola 94.5, also on HD Radio at HD2 98.7 WYCT, and streaming online at our website at espnpensacola.com.
Attention all crab cake lovers, restaurants, organizations, and chefs. It's time to prove that you can make the best crab cakes once and for all. Register your team for the annual Crab Cake Cook-Off, sponsored by the kids' dentist, Dr. Stu Bonin, at Seville Quarter on Wednesday, July 31st from 6 to 8 p.m. Be among 18 teams competing for the best crab cake bragging rights while supporting the Arc Gateway. For tickets and to become a sponsor, call Brittany at 434-2638 or visit arc-gateway.org.
Pensacola Beach isn't just a sun-soaked white sand paradise. It's also the best dance floor in 50 states. Every Tuesday night, the stage near the Beach Ball comes alive with great music you know and love. Bands on the Beach are free shows every Tuesday through October, and they're brought to you by the Santa Rosa Island Authority. This Tuesday, it's Elvis Remembered. Shane Tucker puts on an amazing Elvis show worthy of the king himself. He brings the energy of the true king of rock and roll. Join us for live music every Tuesday night at 7 for Bands on the Beach.
This is Pensacola's hometown all-sports station and home of the Blue Wahoos, ESPN Pensacola 94.5. Catch all the Wahoos games home and away all season, plus all the latest Wahoos news from Chad Brilliante on the Sports Drive, 5 till game time weeknights. And hey, if your business would like to partner with us as an advertiser or with a local sports promotion, then give us a call at 850-262-6000 or shoot us an email from the advertise page on espnpensacola.com.
All sports, all the time. ESPN Pensacola, 94.5 WYCT Pensacola.
ESPN Pensacola 94.5. I'm Jordan Glass with your Pensacola Sports Update for UWF Argos Baseball.
The following has been produced by Talk Football LLC. Former Florida Gators quarterback, NFL quarterback, and NFL head coach. Coach K. Stevenson has a resume second to none, and now he's sharing his insider information with you. Talk Football with Coach K starts right now on ESPN Pensacola 94.5.
ESPN Pensacola 94.5. Welcome to another edition of the sports, of the Talk Football, I should say. I'm Davis Allen filling in for Jordan Glass. It's his birthday today, so he's enjoying himself a well-deserved day off. In the meantime, I'm Davis Allen filling in for Jordan, and as always, Coach K. Stevenson is here with me. Coach, good afternoon.
Good afternoon, Davis. Good to be with you.
Good to be with you, as always. Now, throughout the week, I've been listening a little bit, and we always want to try and cover our headlines first. We also have been going through Libby Sports unit rankings. We've been discussing the backfield. We've been discussing the receiving core. We have not had an opportunity to talk about the offensive line. So today we're going to be diving into that, and then we're also going to be going into the defensive side of the field, talking what Libby Sports has in terms of their unit rankings. But first, Carson Wentz, we touched on this yesterday. He did sign a 4-year extension worth $128 million. At least 66 of that is guaranteed. But then there is more included based on incentives. Carson Wentz, he's getting paid.
Well, yeah, and deservedly so. I think probably what they've done here, Davis, is avoided a huge, huge payout later on. They've gone to the well early, get something done with him, and maybe that will keep him happy, should keep him happy through what could be in another year. Really, really big salary dispute.
Yeah,
but I think he's a good kid. He's glad to get it. There won't be any problem. But I really think they moved ahead and got it done to get away from that jump in the quarterback salary that you're going to face.
And in other news, the New England Patriots received their Super Bowl rings last night, the largest the team has ever received. And, of course, Tom Brady, he and Bill Belichick both get to enjoy the luxuries of now being the owners of 6 rings, all with the New England Patriots. Of course, Belichick winning rings with other teams. But congratulations to the Patriots on another great year, and they get their Super Bowl rings as a result of that, of course. And if you haven't seen them, you can go on ESPN.com and you'll be able to check it out there. But now, Coach, on to our rankings list. We want to go ahead and brief. If you haven't been listening or you maybe missed this earlier in the week, we've been going over the Libby Sports unit rankings. And we started off with the backfield, and that includes the quarterback and the running back. Then we have the receiving core. And then what we have not gotten into is the offensive line. But real quick, Libby Sports, and we also want to, this is according to Libby Sports and their sports writers. And they put their collective heads together, and they go ahead and put together the list of top 10 backfields or receiving cores that they just believe is the best in the game at this moment. At the top of the list for backfield, and again, this includes the quarterback and the running back, they have Clemson at number 1. Coach, to me, that's no surprise whatsoever.
No, that's not a surprise at all. And keep in mind, just to elaborate a little bit, excuse me, on what you were talking about there, Libby Sports puts together a good sports staff, and they are information gatherers, what I call information gatherers. And there are a lot of those. Most of these so-called draftniks or draft gurus, that's what they do. They gather information from a lot of other sources. Now, they do get some information, some feedback from some college personnel and some pro personnel that they pay for. I have an opportunity to talk to some people around most of a good many of the pro personnel people, scouts, and they have certain information that we can look at something like this Lindy's and say, well, we agree with it. Most of it's good. Most of it's pretty good. Of course, you have to remember now this is June, and we're not going to know for sure until we get into mid-season how reliable these projections are. But for the most part, at this point in the season, not bad. These are not bad, and they're not too far off what I'm hearing. The biggest discrepancy that I've seen so far in there, to be honest with you, is Missouri, rated even in the top 10 with the offensive backfield, and I just don't see that. I don't see Missouri in there. I don't think they don't have a quarterback that even compares with these other people, and how they can offset that with I don't think they offset that much with their running backs.
Yeah, and Missouri coming in on the top 10 list, ranked at number 6, and they have Kelly Bryant. He's transferring in from Clemson. He had an opportunity to start at Clemson, started a couple of games at the beginning of last year until Trevor Lawrence came in, which, if I could speak for everybody, I would like to think that we expected to see that. I certainly saw that coming. But I'm with you, Coach, on I want to see what Missouri can do before I go ahead and give that much of high praise. Because it seems to me, without really knowing too much about their running back core, they're basing this ranking solely off Kelly Bryant coming in. And they're not even going to be a postseason team at the end of the year because of their self-imposed postseason ban. So,
well, I don't know where they could get information that would give them that high of an opinion to Kelly Bryant. Kelly Bryant is not a true quarterback. He's a running back that somebody has put at that position. He's more like a Tennessee single wing back years ago, as a tailback. Can throw a little bit, great runner. And, I mean, that's what he is. This day and time in this era, you have to be able to efficiently throw the football down the field. That's not what he is. So that's my problem. I can't see them rated there when they have such a deficiency at that position.
And, of course, going back to the list, Clemson is the number 1 team, and then you have Alabama. No surprise there either. And then Georgia, Jake Fromm coming into his junior season, ranked at 3rd, and Oklahoma with new Jalen Hurts added into the backfield. They have him and his Sooners ranked at number 4. And then, of course, Oregon with Justin Herbert, who could be a potential top draft pick going into next year's draft, coming back for his senior year, foregoing what would have been at least a first-round draft pick, deciding he wanted to come back to Oregon for.
Well, he would have been the first quarterback taken this year, no doubt about that. I mean, the all consensus by far with all the scouts that I talked to, he would have been, if he'd come out in this class, he would have been the first guy to go. Now, I disagree with the only thing I disagree with there is I think Oregon should be rated ahead of Oklahoma. I love Jalen Hurts. I really do. I think how he handled that Alabama situation with Tua and hanging in there and the way he conducted himself both on and off the field, I thought was certainly admirable and what you would expect from a gentleman and a good, just a good football player. Unfortunately, I mean, he's blessed with great athletic talent. But unfortunately, that doesn't include the passing game. Okay, that's why Saban had to make the change to Tua because of the passing game. That's why at Clemson they had to make the change from Kelly Bryant because of the passing game. If you're going to win big ball games, you're going to win the national championship, you're going to do it all, beat great defenses, you got to be able to throw the football. So those coaches, and I told Sweeney this on our interview. We had him on live on an interview, and I told him this. I admire he and Saban for the decisions that they made because they weren't easy. When you're undefeated and you've got a quarterback that's done that much for you, and you make a change, it's not easy. It's very, very difficult to do. And most coaches would live in the comfort zone and not do it. But you saw two guys that stepped out of that comfort zone and made the quarterback changes that have kept them, have put them in a situation to win national championships. I don't want to go on too long about it, but that's why I would, right now, I would put Oregon ahead because if we're rating so much on the quarterbacks, you got to rate Herbert head and shoulders.
And then moving on over to the top 10 receiving core. Alabama, no surprises at number one. When you return your Blitnikoff Award-winning Jerry Jeudy, who has size, speed, all the above, and Henry Ruggs to add along with it, they have a really solid core going in at Alabama. But then you return some good players from Clemson, who comes in at number 2. Michigan is a little bit of a surprise for me. They come in ranked at number 3. And then Oklahoma 4 and Florida. They've been getting some love. They came in at number 10 on the backfield list, number 5 on the receiving core list.
Yeah, and it's interesting on that receiving core. Out of the top 10, you don't see Georgia anywhere. Georgia's not listed on there, so I'm not sure what. I didn't know they were that depleted. And they can still have good receivers, not be in the top 10 and on this list, or even on a list that was 100% true, and still have a good football team because they've got a good quarterback in Fromm. So that would be the one thing that would be a little puzzling there is why Georgia didn't at least make the list.
You would imagine going into the off season, they were kind of blindsided with the amount of players that decided they wanted to go ahead and take their talents into the NFL. Riley Ridley being one of them. He really stood out during his sophomore year, the year they went to the national title. Then they go into his junior year, and some really good production out of him still. And then he ends up announcing he's going to leave, and then not being the highest draft pick at all. In fact, if I'm thinking back, I can't recall when Riley Ridley was drafted. However, they lose some core receivers, and now they look at what they do have. And I guess they didn't have enough to really judge to put them in the top 10 or higher.
Yeah, well, obviously that's for sure. And you're right. Losing Ridley was a big one. I think he was drafted about the 3rd round.
Now, Coach, we have not had an opportunity to go over the offensive line, and we'll probably spend some time talking about this list here in about 3 minutes or so. We'll take a break, but let's go ahead and dive into our top 10 offensive line unit rankings. And again, this is according to Lindy Sports. They are an information resource. That's how you put it, Coach. And they put together what they believe was their top 10 list. We just went over backfield and receivers to kind of cover what we have already discussed. But now let's go ahead and dive into our offensive lines. Coming in at number 1, they have Clemson as their top team with the best offensive line unit.
Yeah, and that's not surprising. And, to top that off, and not only does Clemson have a good group coming back, I think they lost their left tackle, but they have a good group coming back. But they also drafted, if I'm not mistaken, they drafted the 10th, maybe like the 10th and the 28th rated offensive lineman in the country to go to Clemson. And one of them for sure, I think, came in at mid-season, and the other will come in as school opens. But at least one of them, maybe two, could break into the starting lineup. At least they'll be into that first rotation when they bring the first starters out. So just another impact type situation for Clemson will be their offensive line.
And of course, that senior that did leave was Mitch Hyatt, left tackle. And they have sophomore Jackson Carman. That is who they have looking forward, hoping to be that guy that can fill in for the role for Mitch Hyatt. But coming in at number 2, University of Georgia. They're returning 3 full-time starters, and they also have Lindy's preseason All-American Andrew Thomas and rising sophomore star Isaiah Wilson as players that they believe are going to be the big anchors for that offensive line.
Yeah, Georgia is, they're a good football team, and they've got a good quarterback, and they're well coached. Now they get that offensive line as strong as it looks like they're getting, and they're just going to be tough to stop for anybody. Tough to beat for anybody who plays the Georgia Bulldogs.
And a team now that really had a disappointing finish to the season. They were looking to be a team that was going to be a top 4 team going into their matchup against Ohio State, and then they end up losing to Ohio State. They go on to lose against Florida in the Peach Bowl. This is the University of Michigan. They have them ranked number 3 for their top 10 offensive lines.
Going to be interesting to see what Michigan does with their offense. I understand they're going to have some offensive changes this year, which is contrary to Harbaugh's preaching. But maybe he has relented at this point and is doing something different. If they get those, they've got those big hogs that they have access to, and most of them are really, really good football players, and they've got the size. They pass the eyeball test. Michigan. It's just a matter of time before Michigan recaptures their standing in the world, and they're a good football team. I'm not surprised to see them improve their offensive line drastically, because again, they're right in the middle of great offensive line recruiting capability.
And to just recap our list, coming at number 1 was Clemson, number 2 Georgia, and number 3, what we had just been discussing, Michigan. That's according to Libby's offensive line unit rankings. We're currently going over top 10 offensive lines. Coming up at number 4, we will discuss here in just a moment, but we will take a quick timeout. You're listening to Talk Football with Coach K on ESPN Pensacola 94.5.
When you're looking for a great deal on a reliable new or certified pre-owned vehicle, you can't beat Bob Tyler Toyota in Car City, Pensacola. Bob Tyler Toyota has the best selection in town at incredible low prices. You can check out their amazing inventory from Camrys to Tundra trucks to 4Runners. It's all at Bob Tyler Toyota, and you can find it online at bobtylertoyota.com. Also score a touchdown this football season with the car of your dreams. Again, it's only at Bob Tyler Toyota in Car City, Pensacola.
I'm attorney Stephen Luongo with Levin, Papantonio, Thomas, Mitchell, Rafferty, and Proctor in Pensacola, Florida. Distracted driving is a dangerous epidemic on America's roadways. In 2016 alone, over 3,000 people were killed in motor vehicle crashes involving distracted drivers. This according to the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration. For more information, please visit us today online at levinlaw.com. Please be safe on the roadways. Stop the text, stop the wrecks.
Sometimes your bank, your family, and your friends love you, but they don't have the money to help you. Sometimes we have chances to make money, but the old saying, you've got to have money to make money, rings true. At Pensacola Specialty Pond, we can help. If you have trucks, heavy equipment, airplanes, boats, jet skis, anything with value, Pensacola Specialty Pond can loan you that short-term money you need. No credit checks, and at Pensacola Specialty Pond, you're going to find the money and the discretion you need.
Now at 6428 Pensacola Boulevard, north of Car City. Call 432-9050, 432-9050.
When it comes to the playoffs, coverage is everything. The same applies to the wireless game. With Straight Talk Wireless, you get full nationwide coverage on America's largest and most dependable 4G LTE networks, but for up to 50% less than those big carriers charge, for the exact same high-speed networks. It's like getting full-court coverage at half-court prices. Switch to Straight Talk Wireless and get the unlimited plan with 25 gigs of high-speed data for just $45 a month, only at Walmart. Savings may vary. See terms and conditions at straighttalk.com.
Hulu's paying Tobin Heath, Carly Lloyd, Mallory Pugh, and other U.S. soccer stars a lot of money to do a new goal celebration called Hulu Has Live Sports. Why? It's simple. Because Hulu has live sports. You can watch the biggest games and sporting events like the Women's World Cup this summer on 60-plus top channels. No cable required. Plus, you can stream the entire Hulu library. Start your free trial of Hulu today. Live TV plan required. Restrictions apply. Learn more at hulu.com.
Don't drop the ball this football season. Make Tom Thumb your game day destination. We are your first round pick for snacks, chips, dips, and drinks. Are you tailgating before the game? Don't get blindsided. Head to Tom Thumb for all your supplies. Score big savings with our rewards card. You'll earn 4 fuel points for every dollar spent in store. From hot dogs and buns to ice and propane, Tom Thumb has you covered to help you enjoy the game. For the ultimate game day, team up with Tom Thumb, the local store for local champions.
ESPN Pensacola 94.5. You're listening to Talk Football with Coach K. I'm Davis Allen, filling in for Jordan Glass. He's currently enjoying his birthday today, so if you're friends with him on social media, feel free to give him a shout out, wish him a happy birthday. And speaking of social media, you can tune into Facebook Live right now. If you want to watch the show, you don't always have to just be listening on your radio. And of course, you can also watch us on YouTube. Follow us on Twitter as well at ESPNpensacola.com, as well as on Instagram. And if you want to be a part of the show, you can always call in or text 972-1945. If you're just now joining us, we are breaking down Libby Sports unit rankings. We briefly went over the backfield and the receivers, and we just dove into the top 3 offensive lines that Libby Sports believes that are the best going into this season. Number 1 was Clemson, number 2, Georgia, and then number 3, where we left off before we went to break, Michigan. But now, Coach, let's go ahead and dive into the number 4 team. Number 4, Libby Sports says Alabama has the best offensive line going into this year. Big and talented Nick Saban said during the spring that he felt really good about that group. Alabama coming in at number 4.
Well, you know, I think that's realistic because of their youth right now. You can almost bet on the fact that when the season starts, they'll perform like older veterans because they'll be coached extremely well and will have been through every situation that they're going to face on the field. They will have been through in practice. So that's going to make them better, quicker. I think, though, that's a realistic projection at this point. They're number 4 because they've got such great talent coming in there. But they are young and not experienced, that much experience. So it's going to be a little difficult for them early, but by coaching, they'll make up the difference.
And this Alabama offensive line hits home for Pensacola because it features Alex Leatherwood out of Washington High. He played right guard last year, but he's a natural left tackle, and they're saying that he'll get an opportunity to take over that position once again at Alabama this time.
Yeah, that's important. Obviously, that left tackle, everybody knows how important that is now in football. And, of course, with Tua being a left-handed guy, the left tackle is going to be protecting his face, not his back. But it gives Underwood a chance to play that left tackle, and if he's good enough to be drafted relatively somewhere in the middle rounds or so, it's going to give him a chance later on in pro football to make more money as a left tackle than he would a guard.
And coming in at number 5, we're going over our top 10 list for offensive line, according to Libby Sports, their unit rankings. Coming in at number 5, Coach, the University of Iowa. And I've always actually liked this team. They've never been a team that's quite gotten over that hump in the Big Ten, but they do have a solid offensive line going into this year.
Yeah, in fact, I like Iowa. They've got a pretty solid football team. Again, I like the coaches there. He's been there for a long, long time.
Kirk Ferentz,
and he's done a great job, and will do another good job this year as long as he's there. So, yeah, you're right. Be careful when you play Iowa because they could beat it. Look what they did to Iowa State 2 years ago. Iowa State came in there number 1 in the country, and they did a hat dance on them. I think they scored 38, 39 points or so, maybe 40 points. I don't know what the score was, but they beat them down pretty bad. It was a bad beating, which kept Ohio State out of the playoffs. So anyway, the moral to the story here is again, they're in that area of the country where you get some outstanding offensive linemen, and they know how to coach them up there, and they know how to play with them. But they've got some players other than offensive line this year, so Iowa could be in there.
And to break down the rest of the list, coming in at number 6 is Iowa State, number 7, Auburn, number 8, Washington, number 9 is LSU, and rounding up the top 10 list is Boise State. Coach, out of those 5 that I had just mentioned, any of those teams stand out to you? I take a look at this list. I know Auburn is a team that really needs to have a good season this year. And then, of course, the other SEC team in there is LSU, coming off a solid season last year, finishing in a victory in the Fiesta Bowl. Again, Iowa State, Auburn, Washington, LSU, Boise State. Any of those teams stand out to you?
Well, I think LSU is one that's going to have to play better up front if they're going to be where they want to be at the end of the season. They obviously would like to be SEC champs and be in the playoff, but to do that, I mean, you've got Alabama, Texas A&M, Georgia, Florida. You got some big ones to walk through to get there. So they can't do it with an inferior offensive line. So I think the one team there that's got to play better than that rating would indicate, I think, would be LSU. Now, keep in mind what I've heard is that with their new offense, their 5-wide offense, that may be one reason they've got them rated there, because that's going to change their blocking style too.
And another thing that helps LSU is that when they go into this next season, they will have some experience on that line, as 4 of their offensive linemen are going to be returning, and these guys were starters last year. All right, Coach, so moving ahead on to the other side of the field, we haven't had an opportunity to talk about defense. Libby Sports top 10 defensive line, and coming in at number 1, Auburn University.
Yeah, we've heard, been hearing now for quite a while, that Auburn really has a top 5 defense overall, period, this year. That's what most of the pro scouts think. They think they've got outstanding talent. They run well. They get to the football. They've got some people that like to play over there, which means a lot. And people like them, and the pro scouts like them. So I'm not surprised to see Auburn up there rated number 1 in the defensive line, and really overall they're going to be a very formidable defense.
And, of course, returning Derek Brown onto that defensive line, big help, a guy that is a potential first-round draft pick going into the next draft. Coming in at number 2, Coach, Michigan State, one of the biggest fronts in the Big Ten. Michigan State coming in at number 2.
I'm wondering how Michigan State, they're rated number 2, and they are big. I don't know. I question their pass rush ability some. So, and how you could be rated number 2. Now they're big and strong up front. They're going to shut down the inside run. You're not going to zone them very well. They're going to eat up double teams. They're going to be you won't mash them and roll them out of there. So what are you going to do inside? People are going to have to get off tackle at best, and outside they're going to run the football. But again, I don't see the dominating pass rush there. I don't see an outstanding pass rusher on their football team, which to me may move them down a little bit. But I do like all that bulk inside. Keeps you from lining up. You don't have to worry about anybody lining up and knocking you off the football. Not going to happen.
And, Coach, you mentioned their run offense. They finished first in the nation last year with run offense, only allowing just under 78 yards per game. But the big question will be that pass defense, like you had just mentioned. But number 3, Coach, back in the SEC, LSU.
LSU, yes, I certainly have. The word I'm getting is that LSU is going to be very good defensively. Now, that comes from 2 or 3 very, very good scouts that I would trust with personnel evaluation. Would send them on any scouting trip to look at another team, for example, not just players individually, but look at a team and how they're coached. They've got that type background that they can do that. They like these guys. Give them a little rep there because you need to know that when I tell you that they like LSU's defense. Now, that means quite a bit. Are they third? Should they be ranked third in the country now? And again, this doesn't mean that much. All this magazine ratings don't win or lose a ball game, but these do. These are not bad. They're pretty good. I looked over them, so these aren't too far off the mark. But again, LSU could be a little higher than that, I think.
And again, Coach, breaking down the top 3 that we've gone over so far. Before we take a quick timeout and then go over number 4 and 5, Auburn comes in at number 1, returning one of the best defensive linemen, Derek Brown. And then you have Michigan State at number 2 with the number 1 rush defense. And then LSU coming in. They have some starters returning, so they are praising LSU. They have some high hopes on them. But we will take a quick timeout. You are listening to Talk Football with Coach K. When we come back, we'll go over number 4 and 5 and the rest of the top 10 on the list. You're listening to ESPN Pensacola 94.5.
I'm attorney Stephen Luongo with Levin, Papantonio, Thomas, Mitchell, Rafferty, and Proctor in Pensacola, Florida. Distracted driving is a dangerous epidemic on America's roadways. In 2016 alone, over 3,000 people were killed in motor vehicle crashes involving distracted drivers. This according to the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration. For more information, please visit us today online at levinlaw.com. Please be safe on the roadways. Stop the text, stop the wrecks.
When you're looking for a great deal on a reliable new or certified pre-owned vehicle, you can't beat Bob Tyler Toyota in Car City, Pensacola. Bob Tyler Toyota has the best selection in town at incredible low prices. You can check out their amazing inventory from Camrys to Tundra trucks to 4Runners. It's all at Bob Tyler Toyota, and you can find it online at bobtylertoyota.com. Also score a touchdown this football season with the car of your dreams. Again, it's only at Bob Tyler Toyota in Car City, Pensacola.
This is the sound of the 2 new Reese's Lovers Blizzard treats being made at DQ. But it's not what they really sound like. Listen closer. That's the sound of the extra chocolate in the Reese's Chocolate Lovers Blizzard treat. Or maybe more peanut butter is your thing in the Reese's Peanut Butter Lovers Blizzard treat. And whether you pick chocolate or peanut butter, your favorite Blizzard treats just got happier. DQ. Happy tastes good. At participating locations.
Hey, big guy, you tired of the runaround? You know, going from store to store, never finding your size? Here's a tip. Head to DXL. They are the one-stop shop for men's big and tall clothing, period. And at DXL, you don't have to be all hoity-toity to have a personal stylist. Their fit experts will help you find great styles in your size. It couldn't be easier. So head to DXL.com and check out a store near you. DXL Big and Tall. Built for you at DXL.com.
When it comes to their kids, dads don't have favorites. When it comes to their tools, they do. And the Home Depot has every one of them. Top brands like Makita and DeWalt. Exclusive brands like Ryobi, Husky, and Rigid. Even Milwaukee, with an M12 12-volt 5-tool kit, now just $199. Today is the day for Do It. And for Dad, with the best selection of his favorite tools only at the Home Depot. More saving, more Do It. Offer valid through June 19th while supplies last.
Hello, sports fans. Miles Bentley here, General Manager at Hill Kelly Dodge Chrysler Jeep Ram in Pensacola. Growing up, I always loved sports. Nothing but net, out of the park, through the uprights. Sink the puck Bentley, that was me. But my love of the game couldn't beat my love for Pensacola and helping folks get on the road of dreams in a new Dodge Chrysler Jeep Ram. Sure, I never went to the big leagues in sport, but we're all pro here at Hill Kelly Dodge Chrysler Jeep Ram. Proud to be in Pensacola.
ESPN Pensacola 94.5. Welcome back to Talk Football with Coach K. Heard live on ESPN Pensacola. And of course, if you want to join in on the conversation, you can call or text 972-1945. And then you can tune into the Facebook page as we are live. So not only do you have to listen, but you can watch us live on ESPN Pensacola 94.5. And feel free to follow our Instagram and Twitter pages at ESPN Pensacola 94.5. If you're just now joining us, we are going over the top 10 defensive lines according to Libby Sports. They have their unit rankings. Earlier in the show, we were going over their offensive lines, and then we were recapping the backfield and wide receiver units. But now, Coach, let's go ahead and continue on our list with the defensive line to get our listeners caught up. We have Auburn at number 1, Michigan State at number 2, and coming in at number 3 is LSU. But now, Coach, moving on over to number 4, a team that has some missing pieces on their defensive line, Ohio State. Libby Sports has them ranked number 4. Lindy Sports, I should say, has them ranked at number 4.
Yeah, I'm not sure they should be ranked there, quite honestly. They're ranked there not because of the necessarily because of the expertise they have there or the experience or whatever, but because they're always rich in talent and they have good depth. And they had good depth last year, so they'll just fill in the spots. I think that's the main reason they're even in the top 5.
And the way Lindy Sports is putting it, they say that, they're missing the big piece out of Nick Bosa. Well, let's keep in mind, they were pretty much missing Nick Bosa most of last year after he suffered his injury, and then he elected to sit out the rest of the year. So I think that this is a team that moving forward, I don't think they're hung over on Nick Bosa. They're ready to go ahead and move forward with the team they have, and of course add Justin Fields into the mix offensively. This could be another solid team out of Ohio State. Maybe see more than a Rose Bowl like they had last year.
Well, it could be. I mean, you never want to sell Ohio State short. First, they're a great football tradition there. They're going to have recruiting. It's almost impossible to keep them out. It's amazing. It's like a bank, and they're having to turn money away. It's just they just attract it. Great players there. I think they're getting good coaching from this guy. We're going to really find out this year what kind of coach he is when he has it from day one. A little bit different to have it short time and have it all the way. So we'll see what type coach he is. My guess is he's a pretty good coach. So having said all that, Ohio State, I wouldn't doubt where they're rated with any of their groups because they've got talent everywhere.
Yes, Ryan Day going into his first season as head coach of Ohio State. Urban Meyer deciding to call it quits due to health reasons. Coming in at number 5, Coach, I think we're going to be seeing this team in any category. That's the University of Alabama.
Yeah, and again, that's like Ohio State. I mean, they're just so rich with talent, and when they do have graduation or attrition in any way, they just plug in the next great athlete. You know, it's just one of those things, which is good for Alabama. I don't. What I hear about Alabama is they're going to be a good defense as always, and with Saban doing most of the coaching. Now, keep in mind, you know, you got Nick Saban as the head coach, but he's also a defensive coordinator extraordinaire. So he's not going to, while he'll turn some things over to other coaches, his true love is that defensive football team, and he's not going to turn that over entirely. He's going to have his fingers in it, and they're going to be good. What I'm hearing is they're going to be good primarily because of the coaching that they'll get, and schematically how they'll plan for each football game, and they're just going to be tough to beat.
And to round out the top 10, you have Notre Dame coming in at 6, Utah at 7, Iowa State. They're getting some love on these lists. They're coming in at number 8. Clemson. They lost some key members on that defensive line. If they had those same members, they'd probably top 2. But Clemson, they have them ranked at number 9, and then USC, they come in ranked at number 10. Coach, any of those teams that stand out to you in terms of a defensive line?
Yeah, Clemson lost their whole defensive line are all number 1 draft picks, I think. Number 1, number 2, whatever. But yeah, all those kids, you know, they came back for last year to win a national championship, and they did. So it was a big loss. That's where they had the biggest loss. But they also, like Alabama, like Ohio State, they're now getting to the point where recruiting is like a magnet. It's like having a magnet for recruiting. So I'm sure they're gonna end up with a lot of talent there. The one thing you have to be careful of early in the year when you replace so many like they're having to replace is somebody pushing you around early in the year, and your young guys losing some of their momentum, losing confidence in what they can do as a group, and that's what you got to be careful of. So you got to continue to try to turn those people over. If things aren't going well, you got to get another group in there. You just got to keep those guys, keep the momentum up as best you can, and that's going to be their job. They'll do that good job, and they'll coach well.
And certainly Clemson's looking to be a good team, some really good success, especially with your offensive powers. All right, Coach, let's go ahead and break down Lindy Sports' top 10 linebackers. And again, if you're just now joining us, we're going over Lindy Sports' unit rankings, both offensively and defensively. And if you want to hop in on the conversation, maybe there's a team that we're not talking about, 972-1945. Also, you can leave a comment on our Facebook page as we are streaming live. But, Coach, under the linebackers coming in at number 1, and no surprise here, University of Alabama.
Yeah, that's the same word I get. Alabama's linebackers are they really got sideline to sideline speed. That's number 1. Number 2, as I said, you're going to have the best defensive coordinator in the country, who is your head coach, and is going to be coaching them. And he really takes pride in how they play. Certainly the back end plays in that defense, back end, including everything from linebackers on back through the secondary. And they're gonna. What I hear is that they have tremendous speed. They have outstanding coaching. Number one. They have the feel for the game. There's a certain feel with a linebacker. You hear commentators on television and other coaches saying he has a nose for the ball. He tends to get to the the gap and gap play and destroy plays and things like that. Linebackers historically are the ones that do that, and it's because of coaching and football savvy, what I call football savvy, which means they have an innate feel for the game. They just have a feel for the game. They've seen these offensive sets so much. They've seen the flow, the backfield flow, linemen pulling, all kinds of clues and tips that they get on a pre-snap, not only a pre-snap look, but also as the play unfolds. And the better players, the more well-coached players, and the ones with football savvy, if you put all that together and their athletic ability and they can run, well, you got outstanding football players, and that's what Alabama is. And they've, of course, that coaching and being able to adjust on the run makes a big difference.
Coach, here's a team that we have not really seen much out of our other top 10 list, but University of Miami, they come in as the second-ranked team for top 10 linebackers.
That's a little surprising. I have not heard much about Miami. I know Diaz is a defensive coordinator. Will they really be that good during the season? I don't know. Big question mark to me. Big question mark. I haven't heard that much, so I don't want to comment on it. I would imagine that Lindy's sources have convinced them that Miami's got a heck of a crew down there.
And they are going to be returning 3 starters: Shaq Quarterman, Michael McKinney, Pitkney, and Zach McLeod. 3 seniors that are going to be returning. So we'll see. They have nothing but linebackers returning, all starters from last year. But LSU coming in at number 3, Coach. We've been seeing them all over these lists. It looks like they're really favoring their defense because they say they have the third best linebacker core going into this season.
Yeah, and that's a real plus, again, because of the plays that linebackers are able to make and the consistency for which you can get outstanding defensive play is from the linebacking position. LSU, I'm sure they've got great athletes. They're going to be similar to Alabama in the way they can run to the ball. There's a couple of people I've talked to like LSU's defense, and I feel like they're going to be pretty good. So you have to say that's pretty much right on with LSU.
Well, Coach, going over our top 3 so far: Alabama, Miami, and LSU. When we come back from this break, we'll break down number 4 and number 5, and I'll just go ahead and tease number 4. This is a team that has been always known as Linebacker U. They live up to that moniker for sure. You're listening to Talk Football with Coach K on ESPN Pensacola 94.5. Again, if you want to join in on the conversation, 972-1945 is the phone number. You can call or text that number. You can also leave a comment on our ESPN Pensacola Facebook page as we are going to be streaming live from now until 1 o'clock. I'm David Allen filling in for Jordan Glass. It's his birthday today, by the way, so happy birthday to him. You're listening to Talk Football with Coach K on ESPN Pensacola 94.5.
There's only one place in town for the lowest prices and greatest selection of firearms. Pensacola Indoor Shooting Range. Visit our fully stocked Gun Pro shop for new and used firearms, accessories, and ammunition. Check out the Indoor Shooting Range. We offer rentals on guns, including fully automatic machine guns and silencers. Ladies, this is the safe place to learn how to use a gun. Plus, Tuesday is Ladies' Day. Women shoot for half price all day. The best place to buy firearms in Pensacola. Pensacola Indoor Shooting Range. Highway 29 in Car City.
I'm attorney Stephen Luongo with Levin, Papantonio, Thomas, Mitchell, Rafferty, and Proctor in Pensacola, Florida. Distracted driving is a dangerous epidemic on America's roadways. In 2016 alone, over 3,000 people were killed in motor vehicle crashes involving distracted drivers. This according to the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration. For more information, please visit us today online at levinlaw.com. Please be safe on the roadways. Stop the text, stop the wrecks.
When you're looking for a great deal on a reliable new or certified pre-owned vehicle, you can't beat Bob Tyler Toyota in Car City, Pensacola. Bob Tyler Toyota has the best selection in town at incredible low prices. You can check out their amazing inventory from Camrys to Tundra trucks to 4Runners. It's all at Bob Tyler Toyota, and you can find it online at bobtylertoyota.com. Also score a touchdown this football season with the car of your dreams. Again, it's only at Bob Tyler Toyota in Car City, Pensacola.
The weather is heating up, and it's time to make sure your battery is ready. At AutoZone, we have the free services you need to do it right. Car not starting? The solution starts at America's #1 battery destination. We'll test your battery for free and help you figure out the real issue, so you don't buy what you don't need. Getting the job done just got easier. Let us help you at more than 5,600 locations nationwide. Restrictions and details in store. The MPD Group Incorporated Car Care Track, 12 months ending December 2018.
Get in the zone, AutoZone.
Hello, sports fans. Miles Bentley here, General Manager at Hill Kelly Dodge Chrysler Jeep Ram in Pensacola. Growing up, I always loved sports. Nothing but net, out of the park, through the uprights. Sink the puck, Bentley. That was me. But my love of the game couldn't beat my love for Pensacola and helping folks get on the road of dreams in a new Dodge Chrysler Jeep Ram. Sure, I never went to the big leagues in sport, but we're all pro here at Hill Kelly Dodge Chrysler Jeep Ram. Proud to be in Pensacola.
Don't drop the ball this football season. Make Tom Thumb your game day destination. We are your first round pick for snacks, chips, dips, and drinks. Are you tailgating before the game? Don't get blindsided. Head to Tom Thumb for all your supplies. Score big savings with our rewards card. You'll earn 4 fuel points for every $1 spent in store. From hot dogs and buns to ice and propane, Tom Thumb has you covered to help you enjoy the game. For the ultimate game day, team up with Tom Thumb, the local store for local champions.
ESPN Pensacola 94.5. You're listening to Talk Football with Coach K. Heard Monday through Friday, noon to 1 on ESPN Pensacola 94.5. Good afternoon. I'm Davis Allen. Maybe an unfamiliar voice if you're used to listening to the show with Jordan Glass. It's his birthday today, so he's enjoying a nice day off. So in the meantime, I figured I'd be a good friend and help him out and let him kick back for the day. But Coach K, it's good to be with you today, and we have some great sponsors that are a part of this show, like Bob Tyler Toyota, Levin Papantonio Law Firm, Hill Kelly Toyota, or Dodge, I should say, Damien's Ice Cream, and Tom Thumb. Coach, if it weren't for these sponsors, I don't know what else we'd be doing right now.
Well, absolutely, we're extremely grateful to them, and really our community should be extremely grateful for all they do for the community. When you're talking about, my goodness, the contributions to all sorts of life improvement projects that they're involved with in the area contribute greatly to this quality of life we have. So we're very thankful to them for that as well.
And if you're just now joining us, we are going over our Lindy Sports unit rankings. Offensively and defensively, we've been breaking down the defensive lines, and currently we are on the linebackers. To get us caught up, number 1, Alabama, number 2, Miami, and number 3, LSU. And I gave a tease at this number 4 team. They're known as Linebacker U. That team is Penn State University. They come in at number 4 on Lindy Sports' top 10 linebackers.
Yeah, Penn State, again, they've got a lot of talent up there. I have not heard all that much about them, to be honest with you. I have 2 or 3 people that I will get additional information over the next month or so on a number of the northern teams. But I wouldn't be surprised at all with Penn State, because that's usually the case up there.
And how about coming in at number 5? This team struggled a little bit last year, but they have some talent offensively. But on defense, University of Arizona, they're really loving their linebacker core. Kevin Sumlin's Arizona team showing a little bit of defensive talent.
Well, you know, Arizona State always do. They end up with kids that can run and play well, great athletes out there. They have a little trouble in and Arizona, they got to travel a little distance into that L.A. area, really, to get into their recruiting base. Now they have some players in the Phoenix area and Tucson area, and so on around Arizona, but they really have to get into Southern California to get their base, and it's going to be interesting to see how they end up. Arizona and Arizona State end up in that Pac-12 this year. They both expect to do well. What I'm hearing is that's going to be difficult for them.
And goes to round out the top 10. Coming in at number 6 is Iowa State. We've been mentioning their name a lot today. Number 7, Mississippi State. Number 8 is Northwestern. And then number 9, Ohio State. And at 10, Georgia. Coach, any of those teams stand out to you at all? Again, Iowa State, Mississippi State, Northwestern, Ohio State, and Georgia for top 10 linebackers?
Yeah, I think Georgia should be higher. I'm hearing that Georgia's going to be pretty salty on defense. And with their coaching staff and the way they coach, I'm certain that's going to be the case. So I would say Georgia should probably rate a little higher than that. And I'm like you. I'm very interested in how much we're hearing about Iowa State. Now I've got to get some information. I know one person in particular that covers that area out there. I'm going to call and talk to him. And if you guys could remind me over the next, next 2 or 3 weeks, we'll do a little report on Iowa State, but we'll get some firsthand information. Something's going on out there. Now, they played much better last year, you know. Iowa State was really a tough out. So let's get some firsthand information, and it might be interesting to people around here to take a look at them as well.
Yeah, Matt Campbell really doing some good things over there at Iowa State, and they're always good for an upset. It doesn't matter the team, they're always good for an upset. So we'll be keeping an eye on this Iowa State team. We'll be talking a little bit about them as we go down the road. But, Coach, we have about 7 minutes left, closer to 6 minutes left. Let's see what we can get done with the top 10 defensive backs, and I'll go ahead and get right to it. LSU, defensively, we're seeing them everywhere. They think they have the best defensive backs returning this year.
LSU, as I said before, what I hear is LSU is going to be very good defensively. So, that being the case, they would have to be, and certainly in those flow positions and where you need great athletes, defensive backs, linebackers, they're loaded there, and they've got good coaching in those positions.
Going in at number 2, and I'm just going to go ahead and spoil it right now. Top 3 teams are all SEC. Number 2, Alabama.
Well, with Saban there, their secondary is going to be. Remember last year going into the season, we said the one problem they may have, that Alabama may have, the Achilles heel may be their secondary, because they were very young, had to play with a lot of young, inexperienced people that they had hoped would come along and improve as the year went on, which they did. I don't think anybody was going to be able to stand up under that barrage that Clemson put on, but their secondary got a lot of kids coming back, got a lot of good experience last year. So Alabama should be there. They should be better.
Now, Coach, this is a team that I have spoken to a few of these players. These players proudly name the University of Florida as DBU. I will agree. As a Gator fan, I will agree with them. Coach, you played at the University of Florida. You graduated from there. You have special ties, University of Florida. Lindy Sports has them ranked number 3 for their top 10 defensive backs.
Yeah, I think they richly deserve to be there at number 3. Could be really interchangeable with Alabama or LSU, to be honest with you. I mean, they've got that much experience, speed, and overall talent, which includes an eye for the ball. Remember now, it's not just speed back there. You got to have, and people don't understand this, in that position, you probably have to have more what we call hip flexion than any other position in football. I mean, you got to be able to turn the body so quickly at the hips to change direction. You can be in a back pedal, change to a right release, back to a left release as the receiver gives you different directions. You've got to be an outstanding athlete right there. Plus, you like for them to have some size, meaning longer arms. So you get to the ball just 1.5 inch longer arm could mean the difference in a touchdown or not. So you'd like for them to have that. The jumping ability, timing ability, so many things with defensive backs you don't even think about. Florida has a lot of those. They have a lot of those kids. So to comment on Florida, I would say yes. Florida's right in the running.
And Florida returning starters like C.J. Henderson and Marco Wilson. C.J. Henderson, by the way, is projected to be a top 10 draft pick. So we'll look forward to this season and how that all plays out. But let's go out west and into the mountains, Coach. University of Utah, they have them ranked at number 4.
Utah, historically, over the years, they've been able to recruit some good athletes into Utah. Not necessarily a place that you would expect, but there's a lot of California kids go up there. They had a couple of years ago, they had a couple of kids from South Florida that went up there. It's just one of those unique places, and they've been playing good football certainly since Urban Meyer went there and turned that program around at Utah. That's going to be interesting to see whether he goes back out west here as soon as he gets a chance, maybe at Southern Cal. But that's a story for another time.
And the University of Utah, it's actually a campus I've visited once before. Beautiful campus, beautiful state. And our last one, number 5, Coach, Ohio State. They have them as the number 5th ranked team for the defensive backs.
Yeah. Well, what else could we say? Ohio State, great tradition, great recruiting area they live in, and certainly they're a magnet for great talent to go to Ohio State. You want to go to a winning program, be a part of a winner, go to Ohio State, go to Alabama, go to Georgia, people way. So, yeah, Ohio State, while I don't have any first-hand information, I certainly would defer to Libby's information there on Ohio State.
And to go ahead and break down the remaining 5 teams, coming in at number 6, Notre Dame, number 7, Auburn, 8 is Cal, number 9, Michigan, and at number 10, West Virginia. For myself, Davis Allen, Coach K. Stevenson, you've been listening to Talk Football with Coach K on ESPN Pensacola 94.5. We hope you all enjoy your weekend. Thank you so much for listening. Y'all have fun. Be safe. Coach K, been a pleasure. You've been listening to ESPN Pensacola 94.5. Enjoy your weekend.
This is Pensacola's hometown all-sports station and home of the Blue Wahoos. ESPN Pensacola 94.5. Catch all the Wahoos games home and away all season. Plus all the latest Wahoos news from Chad Brilliante on the Sports Drive, 5 till game time weeknights. And hey, if your business would like to partner with us as an advertiser or with a local sports promotion, then give us a call at 850-262-6000 or shoot us an email from the advertise page on ESPNpensacola.com.
Coast. The Stephen A. Smith Show starts right now.
Welcome to hour number 2